You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast. Joined today, as I frequently am, by the chilly Giles Edwards.
Hello, everybody.
As we prepare for Snowpocalypse 2026, which will be hitting here in Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday and hitting Giles on Sunday.
Although I guess I'm sure hitting neither of us nearly so badly as those folks out in the Midwest to whom I wish the best of luck.
Yes, especially folks in Minnesota.
Yes.
For who always get hit by bad weather and are used to it. So, but today we merely have some minor releases and news to discuss about weird movies for a change of pace. We're gonna cover weird movies. So let me bring up today's small but interesting slate. Can you see the screen, Giles?
I see, well, 4 images and a marquee.
Yeah, semi-image. Let us, we don't have an actual, image of this first item, which I hope you know what it is, but we just have this image to represent this item. If you would like to, give it
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is a publicity photograph, or I'm gonna writer, director, producer, blah blah blah. Who knows? I bet he does a lot of stuff. Older, middle-aged man. Looks like he's wearing a sweater vest, maybe. That's always a good sign for someone, as far as I'm concerned. He's got some stylish older fella stubble going on. He's got impeccably tousled hair, thinning slightly on the forehead, but still, full head there. He's looking off to one side with I don't know. It's either impatience or curiosity. So very much, the kind of person that is gaunt enough to be an artist of some sort, I'm guessing.
You would trust him to make a weird movie, I think.
Yes, certainly. Even when, say, 25 years younger.
Yes.
So.
And so this is a gentleman that we know and have actually chatted with, Cory McAbee. And why do I bring up a picture of Cory McAbee?
Well, there was an update on a current Cory McAbee project where he was very grateful to his various backers for their throwing money at him sight unseen, and this seemed to be a tip of the hat to them and a confirmation that yes, indeed, progress is going on with whatever it is, and he's cautiously optimistic that he may almost be finished with it.
Yeah, and so this is a project that Cory McAbee announced, I believe, yesterday. I can look it up, or maybe the day before. It's the first I had heard of it. I don't remember if he hinted about it that it was an upcoming project when he talked to us. I think he may have said he was working on something, but not had any details. And we still don't have many details. From this 2-minute update that he supplied, all I can really get out of it is that this movie is a musical about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
An historically accurate musical, I think, is at least what he hinted at.
It's narrated by an immortal, which of course is historically accurate. And he's telling it through sort of repurposed vintage video and vintage music that he has altered, perhaps, given it lyrics or something that describe the action going on. So I imagine it's a lot of silent film, a lot of public domain material. It seems like maybe it's an all editing project and there's no original film. He's just editing together stuff to tell the story. Again, not sure. We don't even have a name for it. Just an untitled Lincoln movie. I guess the other piece of news that you can get from this is that he does anticipate that it would be released in spring or summer of 2026. Cory McAbee, of course, you probably know from The American Astronaut. And we have also reviewed another of his latest project. Giles, didn't you review?
Yeah, Deep Astronomy and the Romantic Sciences,
Yes.
which
And
I recall enjoying quite a bit.
well, he has a Patreon, although he offers no rewards for joining his Patreon, other than perhaps you get more updates than this. So you can check him out there. Something we're going to be following, I imagine. I don't think Cory McAbee can put out anything that isn't weird, so probably something that we'll be looking at it when it comes up. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that one. And then something else coming up in the future, or it already exists, however, but you might be able to encounter it in the future. Would you like to describe this still, Giles?
Yeah, I'll take a crack at it. All right, well, let me get the backdrop out of the way. We've got a desert scape going off until you hit a horizon. So very blah kind of blue sky and blah beige sandy dirt. But in the foreground, centered face to face, practically eyeball to eyeball, are two fellas, younger to younger middle age. Well, I'll say middle age. I'll commit to that. They're done up in very different military style uniforms. Looks like, shall we say, parade formal, both of them in their different ways. Left hand side, we got a pretty crisp, certainly very, very, very white dress shirt for a dress military outfit. Those little gold piping lanyard rope things all around it. You can see the leather casing for a sidearm there. There's an insignia on a patch on the upper right-hand side, and he's this fella's wearing spectacles and a nice wide black beret. And right across from him, a foot and a half away, maybe nose to nose, is a bearded fellow, long hair, a sort of, I'll say, military mint short sleeve shirt with a little neck adornment there. He's got the top of some nicely striped slacks or striped lower body garment, red and black, broad belt buckle, and a very imposing fez style hat on the right hand fellow there. Looks like it could be close to, a foot tall, adding to height, and certainly in broad contrast to the very flat disc shape of the beret. And so these two are definitely not on the same side, but they're stuck together.
Yes, they're facing off, and they look quite dissimilar in their dress and their hairstyles, which makes it all the more interesting to learn that they are, in fact, as I understand, identical twins
Yeah.
playing these two roles. So this is a British movie called Straight Circle, which already played at the Venice Film Festival, where it won some awards and has now been picked up by a distributor called Joint Ventures, rather generic name, Joint Ventures, to be released to theaters in the U.S. later this year. It is, as far as we know, it's simply an absurdist comic satire about these two border guards in fictional desert countries, played by real-life twins, who were in some TV show that's probably very popular, but I hadn't heard of. And
I heard it ended badly, that show.
okay, I don't know the show. So, what is the show?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Was it Game of Thrones? Oh well,
I could have sworn that's what I read.
okay. Well, I have heard of that.
I was wondering if you were
Telling a joke. No,
yeah,
I
that's
thought it
right.
was
Yeah,
a
at the
different show.
top of the variety, the byline, first film from Oscar Hudson cast twins from a Game of Thrones. Yeah.
No, a Game of Thrones spin-off.
Oh, spin-off. Oh,
Isn't it a
excuse.
spin-off? Yeah. That's why I hadn't heard of it. I've heard of
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, I guess I should brush up on my fourth grade reading.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think it said. Yes. So anyway, it's
Anyway.
and then there's a big dust storm, and I guess the border gets confused, and things apparently get, according to the Variety.com review, things get a little abstract and surreal. So it goes from absurdism to late in the story, surrealism, perhaps.
Okay, so the spin-off is House of the Dragon.
Yes, yes.
Yes, which I've heard of only because I know people who, yeah, my father likes it.
Okay. All right. So House of the Dragon fans will know who these two identical twins who don't look anything alike in this are. I suppose that's really good costuming
Yeah, yeah.
and makeup to make them look so different. In fact, just because of the different sizes of their hats, they look like they're different heights, but I imagine they're exactly the same height. So.
Yeah.
Yes, but that will be coming to theaters. I don't think that they had an actual date. Did you see anything?
Nothing stood out date-wise. So I mean, it's
I'm
yeah,
thinking 2026.
yeah. I would
Yes,
I
it
would say if it's yeah, but Menace and Variety is telling us about it. Yeah, if that's not out before the end of the year, I'll be surprised. But
says
then again,
later this year.
uh,
So, and that is it. The director again, Stephen Hudson, was it? And it's his first film,
Oscar Hudson.
Oscar Hudson,
Oscar Hudson.
first film, and the name of the actors. Let's see, do we have that?
Yeah, I got that
Elliot
right.
and Luke Tittensor. Tittensor?
Didn't or sure. Well,
Uh,
maybe we can get them on at some point and they can tell us, right?
So that's Straight Circle coming to theaters later. Something that is in theaters next, or will be at least by the time you're watching this. Giles, would you care to describe this somewhat blurry still?
It is
Poster.
blurry. Foreground quite blurry. We are peering into the poster, as it were, uh, through, I don't know, it's either torn flesh or torn fabric or torn something, making a sort of Y shape with in the center of this poster. We see someone staring back at us, judging from the eyebrow. I'm guessing it's a fella. Also, you can see some trace amounts of the lower face with stubble. So some guy is staring very intently through this Y-shaped tear in a flimsy substance of some sort, and looks more than a little disconcerted.
Yeah.
And
And it
that's
is, can you read it through the blurriness of the still? The title
I can. The title is Return to Silent Hill.
in theaters January 2026, which is now. So this is the one where Christopher Gans returns to helm this Silent Hill sequel after
Mm.
successfully helming the first one and then getting off of the second one. Uh, the first one, of course, not super well critically received, but received has a cult following and received much better than the second one, which was frankly just awful. Um, and this third one, if early reviews are to be believed, is even worse than the second one. I have not read anything. I guess there was not really a lot of appetite for a third Silent Hill sequel, and it doesn't look like critics at least, are enjoying it. It's got a 10% positive on Rotten Tomatoes on 20 reviews. So 2 people out of 20 who liked it gave it a positive. Not good.
Mm.
It's from a video game franchise, so it has a built-in fan base, although they're aging a bit. This apparently is sort of a direct sequel or a direct adaptation of the second Silent Hill game,
Okay.
whereas the first two movies covered the first Silent Hill game, as I understand it. So, mainly because it is a sequel to a canonically weird movie, the first movie, Silent Hill, we are mentioning it, but it's not really possible to recommend it at this time.
Yeah, and it's a pity too, because I've seen and enjoyed Brotherhood of the Wolf, but I guess I don't know, maybe he used up all his ideas in the first half of the aughts or something. Because yeah, there's a lot of energy and creativity in Silent Hill '06 and Brotherhood of the Wolf, and yeah, well, it's too bad. Yeah, the trailer looked.
Yes, I don't think Christophe Gans has done. He did something in 2016 called Fury of the Demon, which I didn't see, which got very good ratings. Other than that, after Brotherhood of the Wolf and Silent Hill, they weren't very noteworthy films. He didn't do a lot. He hasn't worked a lot, and he hasn't worked in 10 years. This is his first time in 10 years. So I hope it's much, I hope all the critics are wrong and they're just giving it negative ratings because it's really weird and they didn't get it. But I'm not going to recommend you guys go see that. Sorry. But what about this one? Giles, can you take a stab at describing this?
Well, we've got a not quite black backdrop covered with numbers and text that is not quite white. All told, this is an interesting chromatic scheme they've got going on here. Kind of like a sort of hidden name for this particular event.
Okay. Well, it's not all that hidden because I can make it out.
Well, yeah, it's just that I would have expected a much brighter,
Yeah, I would have expected something more
but
more telling, but it's very, very unassuming. The 2026 Sundance Film Festival. 2026 Sundance Film Festival. Now, Sundance. This is a trivia note. It's their last year in Park City, Utah. They will be moving to Boulder, Colorado. They've been in Park City for almost 50 years. I think this is their 46th year. It's a very small city, and they've outgrown it. So they're moving to Boulder, Colorado. Remember, they had a contest to see which city would be the new city to host it, and one of those cities that was in that competition was Louisville, Kentucky, which would have been great, but
very convenient.
I knew we wouldn't win it because we just don't have enough. It would have been it's a great location in terms of being very central for everybody to get to. And there's a lot of hotels and things because of the Kentucky Derby, so it would have been great in that sense. There aren't a lot of good movie venues in this town, though. There are like currently existing two that I can think of that could host films, and then you'd need to modify some new locations to be able to host films. So I didn't think we were going to get it, and we didn't. But congrats to Boulder, Colorado. But in Sundance, we usually find exactly one weird film a year goes to Sundance. It's almost like clockwork. There aren't multiple ones. There are almost always one. Last year it was Obex. Year before it was I Saw the TV Glow. One year it was Swiss Army Man.
Mandy, I think, also was a midnight screening at Sundance.
That could be. I do not remember if Mandy played at Sundance or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Almost always one weird movie in their midnight. Well, the midnight section's fairly new, but that's it. So we're going to discuss what Giles, I'm putting Giles on the spot, to see if he could locate at least one weird movie this year at Sundance. Giles, did you have any?
Here's my, yeah, I went through all 9 pages of the, what's showing. I'll give you a peek at my list here. You can
Okay.
see a
Uh,
couple little words in the upper left-hand corner there. I found one probable and one
okay.
maybe a distant maybe. The probable is Buddy.
Ah, okay. Well, good job because that's the same one I came up with. So I was going to get up the Sundance site, but I don't need to for this. I'm going to simply bring up a still of Buddy that I
Oh,
downloaded.
excellent. Is it?
Well, there's only one still in,
Yeah, it's a good one though.
so I'm going to have to get Zoom to share that for us. Zoom, please allow me to share. Anyway, you want to describe what caught your eye about Buddy while I load up the still?
Yeah, well, if you go to festival.sundance.org, programs, films, they seem to have it arranged alphabetically with all the, time screening information, whether things are sold out, etc. And so going down, if you hitting the second page, I saw first thing listed under the sub-label Midnight, a an evening or twilight kind of arboreal scene, deep forest with strange, colorful plants growing along the forest floor and tall trees throughout, and just this great murky lighting effect. And standing upright, carrying a fireman's axe in this exotic, fantastical milieu is we'll say, anthropomorphic bipedal unicorn thing that looks quite a lot like a mascot suit gone shabby.
Uh, can you
And
see the image?
I can have the page up and I can see it. Yep, there it is
You can
on
see it
shared
on.
with you there, and that's eye-catching.
Yes, and so that was the image that got you. Did you notice anything else about the film?
I um, I did enjoy the succinct description. Lots of these movies have, two, three, or more sentences about this, some remarks from, the programmers or whatever.
Yes,
This one only had a brief plot. A brave girl and her friends must escape a kids' television show.
that's it. That description and this still is all we have to go on, except for one other thing.
There is the director's
Yes,
um, resume.
the director is Casper Kelly, who I am a big proponent of, and I'm happy to see he's make. They're calling this his debut film, which it really is not his debut feature, but it is his debut theatrical feature, since his other features only played on Adult Swim. Of course, you will know Casper Kelly from a distinguished resume, which first burst onto the scene with the viral short Too Many Cooks. Then he was tapped by Panos Cosmatos to
Hmm.
do the Cheddar Goblin sequence for Mandy. And then he did two movies, feature-length movies for Adult Swim Yule Log and Adult Swim Yule Log 2, Return of the Yule Log. That's not really the subtitle, I just made that up. And now here he's coming out with this one. He also did a segment in the latest VHS franchise, which was the only good segment in that, only really good segment in that film. So here he is again. It has a very kind of Jim Henson look to it, especially the background, and of course the Muppet too. But
Yeah, it's a sort of a frowsy Jim Henson.
yeah,
Um,
we'll mention one more thing about the unicorn. Did you mention that his head is bandaged?
yeah, I didn't in the smaller image I was looking at on my machine, I hadn't quite gotten, but yes, the head is bandaged and the bulging eyeball thing. So this is I'm looking forward to this.
Also, his fur is kind of matted or
Yeah,
mangy
matted. He
or
could have mange, certainly blood of
yeah,
someone or something on it. Yeah,
smoke colored.
this looks fun.
Yes, and besides, since it's Casper Kelly, there will be that premise, where it's oh, it's so ironic. It's a kids show, but it's like the Muppets are killers, but it will go much much deeper and than that because he makes his movies where they continually morph with every time he thinks of a
Mhm.
new strange idea, he incorporates it into this rolling screenplay that gets stranger and stranger as it continues. Starts off with a strange premise and then ends up totally bonkers. Uh, Now, we have to, you know, cross our fingers and hope that this will be as good as his previous work, but the fact that it made it to Sundance is probably
Mhm.
a very good sign. So, very excited about that one. All right, Giles, you said you had one that was a maybe.
Yeah, very
Let's,
distant, mid distant maybe. And this is I think on the second to last page per the alphabetical listing. The movie Wicker might be eccentric enough to be weird, maybe.
let us see if I can bring that up. Now, I do not have I didn't download a still for that one, so I'm going to just go to the Sundance page and try to do this with all these open windows on my
Yeah,
screen.
the single line about it, and again, even with these other ones, there's usually more information. But premieres Wicker. A fisherwoman asks a basket maker to weave her a husband.
Now, I that is one that I noticed. I did not see if we can bring up the still for. There's the still for Wicker.
Yeah.
Yes, not very. Do you want to describe it?
And it's dark interior. This is obviously a period piece. I'm going to guess maybe late 19th century or earlier. Middle-aged woman in good condition, especially, I guess, for lower income type that she is. And of course, it's Olivia Colman, which is very, meaningful for some people. And she's looking up with a mix of surprise and determination, maybe, at a shadowy figure that's off to the left. And she's, yes, drab green frock, hat, wicker hat, I guess, worth mentioning. So I'm wondering if in this scene she's making the deal with the weaver.
Perhaps. So yeah, kind of a old folktale type of
Yeah.
premise described here as part fable, part historical comedy, and fully eccentric. Fully eccentric, of course, is the part that appeals to us. So yes, I agree. That is a more distant possibility. There's one more, Giles, that I didn't think you would find, although you could have because you love shorts.
Oh, see, I made a point to skip those
You
because I
skip the
know,
shorts.
yeah, I saw that program, and so
It
that
is it's actually the one we're interested in is actually the one that's featured here.
okay.
Would you like to describe the still I've got?
Yeah, we got an apartment interior, I'm gonna guess. Probably a studio apartment, though I don't see any bed. And there are some perspective issues here. It's unclear how walls are working or how things are necessarily in relation to them. Um, and they're all told there's a bit of a sort of DIY spray painty feel to it that is something you might expect, say, in late 90s or early aughts kind of computer graphics, photo manipulation nonsense. And in the foreground, seated at a desk, I bet where the computer monitor that she might be looking into as her elbows rest on her keyboard there is a young woman with just over shoulder length hair, casual cuffed long sleeve shirt with some stripes, and her face is a little off and her eyes are very off. In fact, it looks like they're upside down.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, I hadn't thought of that, but perhaps that's it. This one is called Homemade Gatorade, and the plot is a woman embarks on a road trip to deliver her creamy homemade sports drink to a mysterious online buyer. That's pretty much all we know about this, but I was intrigued that they had a little interview with the maker in which
Hmm.
she thanks Sundance for including something that is so weird in their program. Her name is Carter Amelia Davis, and out of curiosity, I looked her up, found her YouTube channel, and as of yesterday, homemade Gatorade is actually available on her YouTube channel for you to view. I don't know
Ah,
if that's an oversight or if that's an agreement. Usually, they are not, publicly available when they're
yeah.
screening at Sundance. This one was at least yesterday when I checked it. So you can go and see homemade Gatorade, and you will verify that it is indeed weird. And I bookmarked her site because a lot of her earlier shorts are very weird too. It is reminiscent, her work is reminiscent of David Firth of Salad Fingers,
Okay. Yep.
both in the animation style and in the sense of humor. And
Hmm.
but refreshingly, she doesn't get kind of as grotesque and sadistic as
Hmm.
Firth skit. It's much, although it's doom laden, it's much lighter in tone and more more comic. Very interesting stuff. Name again, Carter Amelia Davis. Thank you to Sundance for letting me find her. And we will feature some of her shorts that are publicly available on the site because
All right.
I did like her quite a bit. So that is that for Sundance.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else. I mean, there were some other minor things maybe that you say, maybe.
It's certainly not going to be weird, but it did seem an amusing premise. The documentary, The History of Concrete, looked promising for entertainment and informational value with its description. After attending a workshop on how to write and sell a Hallmark movie, filmmaker John Wilson tries to use the same formula to sell a documentary about concrete. And that's, not going to be weird, but does seem a little odd for a documentary genre thing. And also, I have a very good friend who knows a whole lot about concrete, so it's always been a word I've noticed. But yeah, other than that, a lot of very somber and bittersweet and melancholy and aspirational and etc. people dramas, as Sundance is
Yay.
wont to do.
It's a Sundance kind of thing. So yes, that's this year's Sundance. Hopefully we will be surprised and there's something that went totally under the radar. But if not, Buddy will be something even if it gets bad reviews, we will certainly
Oh
want
yeah.
to review it. But just in the last few minutes we have, there is one physical media release to discuss. Not much of a box cover here for this Blu-ray release, but you want to describe it, Giles?
Yeah, sure. It's pretty stylish. It's like an oversaturated black and white snapshot of what do we see though? We see mostly the black bottom right half, basically, at the diagonal. And from the negative space, depending upon how you want to look at it, we can see, the bottom of a nose going into an open mouth with some pointed teeth to the bottom of the jaw, sort of hovering over. Basically, you could probably divide this at a 45 or so degree angle of black and vague face-shaped thing with teeth. Teeth, of course, being very important in this particular motion picture.
So you know the motion picture.
Yeah, I saw the trailer and was kind of surprised that trauma had anything to do with this because the movie, everything I read about it, sounds like it's kind of off and disturbing, and slightly more serious, I guess, than trauma I generally associate with trauma. But regardless, this
Well,
is a trauma release of not their own movie.
yes, Troma released, especially back in the 80s, they released a lot of movies that they didn't make. So
Yeah.
There were, you think Troma movies, you think of movies that Lloyd Kaufman makes, comedies, but they also released a bunch of exploitation movies from other people, just because they could distribute movies and most other people can't. This is called Luther the Geek, and it's a movie I've heard about, I've never seen. Kind of a notorious slasher. Certainly has all the exploitation credentials, but maybe is a little bit notorious because of the killer, who is a bit of an oddball. Inspired by circus geeks, he kills his victims by attempting to bite their heads off, which of course he can't do, even with the aid of his solid steel teeth that he's fitted into his mouth. And otherwise, he often clucks like a chicken while killing. He may not have any meaningful dialogue other than clucking like a chicken. What do you know anything else about Luther?
I guess looking it up, I guess the year 1989 to me is suggestive. That would be a sort of peak 80s excess possibilities there. They seem to go in whole hog with their abilities, with the premise and the budget. Just trying to see if the director has. Oh, okay, this is one-time director, so nothing from there to really work out. So yeah, I mean, exploitation fans, this looks like it should be right up your street, and it's a special edition from Troma, which means it'll be about as thorough as you can hope for.
Yes, very low budget movie. One thing I do like about this movie, just from the trailer and what I've read about it, is it has that shameless kind of 80s rah-rah law enforcement thing to it, where everybody was so afraid of crime, because Luther the Geek, of course, kills people, and then he gets sentenced to life imprisonment, and he goes up before the liberal parole board, and they say, oh, he's rehabilitated, we can let this guy out. And
woe betide that liberal parole board.
Liberal parole board releases him on the public, and he immediately begins killing people again. So, there you
I had a nickel, right?
Yes. Half my family was killed by people released by liberal parole boards in the 80s. So that's Luther the Geek, available on Blu-ray at finer outlets near you. And that should do it for this week. Once again, big piece of news is Sundance and Casper Kellery's Buddy we will be looking forward to. Also looking forward to, in the future, an Untitled Cory McAbee project, and Squared Circle. Was that the name? Squared Circle. I want to say that was the name.
Yeah.
Squared Circle. Oh, and the short films of Carter Amelia Davis, and maybe
Straight Circle. Straight Circle.
Maybe since Carter Amelia Davis is just at the beginning of her career, we will see a lot more from her. Maybe a feature film down the road. Let's hope so. Giles, what should people do in 30 seconds?
In 30 seconds, people should like and subscribe, watch all our YouTube podcasts, start to finish, leave comments, tell your friends, tell your enemies that 366 Movies is where it's at. Buy our book, visit our website, and gosh, shout out to Shane Wilson. He needs more crummy movies for you to recommend, because I think his well may be running dry there. So yes, do come to 366weirdmovies.com, and we can chat more weird movies.
All right. We should be out of time, so thank you, Giles. See you next week with more weird movies.
Weird? Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.